UAE says that a new investment deal with Israel will be signed this month, and with us to talk about this and other issues is Shay, chairman of the Israel-UAE Business Forum and president of Gulf Technology Systems. Good evening.
Good evening.
So many agreements, I lost track, frankly. So first, let's talk about this new one. What's expected?
Well, the new agreement actually is going to determine about the relationship between the two countries. It's a very important agreement. Actually, I think this is one of the basic agreement of the Abraham Accord, because eventually the Abraham Accord agreement is based on the economic relation between the two countries. And this agreement definitely going to open the gates and the way between the two countries as far as investment and economical growth.
Can you be more specific? I mean, investments we have already between the two countries, right?
We don't really have investment between the two countries. There's a procedure that needs to be done. They will come and invest in Israel as far as high-tech and mostly on new startups. Eventually, Israeli also will invest in the Emirates, and they're looking to expand the activities between the two countries.
Any tax breaks, any sort of thing?
Yeah, on the agreement, as far as the trade agreement, it's all full about the free tax relation between the two countries, which is going to be a very important issue as far as opening the trade activities between the two states, as far as importing from the GCC countries, maybe even from Bahrain later on, but also from Israel to the Emirates and from the Emirates to Israel. You know, it's like the East and the West. We need to understand that the Emirates is a gate for many countries worldwide that Israel don't have any really relationship with them. And through the Emirates, it's also be expanded to those countries, also from the Emirates to Europe and the States and the Americas. So eventually, it's going to be a very important procedure.
So, as we said, many agreements in many fields. How do you take these agreements and make them actual business, actual things that happen, not only a signature from the Israeli government?
It's very important point what you're saying, because there's a difference between the nature of the government between Israel and the Emirates. Over there is a monarchy. Over here is parliamentaric government. Over there, when they sign an agreement, they can accept to execute it right away. I mean, it's a word of the king or the president. Over here, you know, just such an office signed the agreement, then the question when it will happen. I think the trade agreement is the easiest one as far as the government, because it's only release all the ties as far as taxation, permits, understanding. All the other agreement, it's really a problem because, for example, agriculture agreement, Minister of Agriculture cannot execute the agreement. It's the private sector that actually can come and execute those type of understanding, so it's more difficult. But I hope that with the time also the Export Institute and the Chamber of Commerce will start to move all those procedures.
So the initiative should come from the private sector in Israel to the private sector in the Emirates to try and do this, not just wait for the government, right?
Absolutely. I mean, from Israel, definitely it's from the private sector. In the Emirates, it's also can be from the government. And we spend now a lot of efforts, and we're spending a lot of planning as far as the coordination between the Israeli private sector and the Emirati government and the royal family and the private sector over there, which eventually it will happen. It takes time to understand, and we definitely will do it.
All right. Shay, thank you very much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.